What's good, YouTube? Legacy here, also known as Infamous Legacy, back with another Marvel's Avengers video. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down to you my Miss Marvel range build. You guys know how I usually do it, so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the gear I use, the attributes in terms of stats, the champion system, a demonstration of obviously the attacks I use when I'm fighting enemies, and also the abilities that you should have with this Miss Marvel build. So let's get it started. Let's go ahead and start with the gear I use. And I'll also explain the stats here real quick. So for the stats right now, you can see I'm rolling with a heroic rating of 3,734. This is more for the critical damage I want to, apply on my enemies when I'm attacking them. And then I'm going with a range rating of 2,822. That's based on precision, range damage, as you can see there. That's a quick breakdown of the stats. Now onto the gear. So with the melee piece, I got this piece from the Villain Sector mission, when again fighting Abomination, Monica, Taskmaster, even Maestro. So you can get that from this or any other Villain Sector missions in the future. Most likely you will be able to get a piece like this. The reason why I went with this piece is it's based off the stats and also that third perk you see. So again, remember, this is a range build. I'm not doing any melee attacks. It's strictly range. So I got 47 proficiency, 38 precision, and 48 valor. But third gear perk there is Polymorph Flare. 116.3% increased critical damage from polymorph attacks. That is an incredible perk. I think you can honestly get a better piece of gear than I have right now, because I think I've seen it before where you can get a 200+% increased critical attack damage from polymorph attacks as well. I'm not sure if that's a legendary drop or an epic drop, but I definitely know it does drop from those Villain Sector missions. But yes, with this piece, when you're basically in your polymorph form and you're doing attacks, you do get that increased critical attack damage. I find that this perk really works when you're using your Miss Marvel ultimate ability, which is the Embiggen ability, when she turns into a giant. So that's where this perk really helps out to increase that critical attack damage. The next one we have here, one of my favorite pieces for Miss Marvel here. This is the range piece I'm rocking with. 43 valor, 45 precision, 40 proficiency. So with this range piece, like I said, range build, it's a status effect build. So every time I do a range attack, I'm applying pin particle damage on to my enemies, which is also dealing additional status damage as well. Besides that, you can see the important perk I'm looking for this build is my damage buffs. So expert buff, 54.0 chance defeating an enemy with a ranged critical attack grants a damage buff. This is incredible. So what I usually do is, before I use my heroic assault ability, I try to keep punching away, getting that range, buff going, and then I'll use my heroic assault ability, which I'll be demonstrating in this video. Then you'll do a lot more damage than just not using it without the damage buff. I also want to mention there is another piece I'm going to show you right now. However, I'm not using it currently just because another reason I'm using this piece is when I'm applying pin particle damage on an enemy, I'm actually shrinking those big robots to smaller robots where I can grab them, which will also have a chance to activate my buff because it is a range attack. So that's the reason I'm using this. The other piece I wanted to show you is this one here, Proficient Buff Armlets. With this one right here, it actually has 2 damage buffs. I really like this piece a little bit more, however, only if it had the PIM status effect damage instead of the cosmic. So with this one, you can see 19.3 chance range power attacks grant a damage buff. Then you have the expert buff again, 42.6 chance defeating enemies in their weak point grants a damage buff. So getting a damage buff with this piece, you'll get it a little bit more often than the piece I'm rolling with right now. But again, I like this piece because it also gives me a better expert buff, a better damage buff in terms of the percentage and the chance, and then also inflicts pin particle damage. And you can, again, if I didn't mention it, you can get this from the villain sector missions. Next one here, also from the villain sector mission, reactive buff vest, proficiency in valor. Wish I got some precision on this, but you know, it's all good because it is helping my heroic rating. Another damage buff piece, it's called reactive buff, 15 point, that's one of the perks here, 15.8 chance taking damage grants a buff. 15.8%, it's not a lot, but you know, at least if I'm having that ability and opportunity to grant a damage buff or trigger it, that's pretty good, you know what I mean? And then we have the next damage buff, which is courageous buff, 31.7 chance when critically injured to trigger a damage buff. This also helps, especially when you're running low health, before you activate your support heroic ability, which is Healing Spirit. Before you even heal yourself, there is a chance you'll get a damage buff. So what I will try to do is I'll try and get that damage buff first if I don't have any, and then activate my Healing Spirit to recover myself and also my teammates when I'm running missions. So again, this is from the villain sector missions as well. Next one here, this is mostly for the heroic ultimate ability for Embiggen. So this piece, I got it from the Mega Hive, where, you know, now it is, I think it's just 16, is it 12 floors now? Or 4 levels and about maybe like 16 or so floors, I don't know. But the Mega Hive is much shorter now, so you can run through it pretty easily. But that's where I got this piece. It's called the Storm Ranger's Coat of Arms. So this Storm Ranger's Coat of Arms, you can see the stats here. Precision 59, Resolve is 59, and Valor is 57. Again, always looking for that precision, valor, and proficiency. Some Resolve is good, especially if you're trying to build up your health. So with this gear perk, when I'm going into that heroic ultimate ability, I'm basically increasing my damage by 10%. So by doing that, I'm also using my range attacks, and again, I will be demonstrating it. And then it also increases the charge rate of my heroic ultimate, so I can go back into that ultimate heroic again. And then it has Embiggen recuperation, 250% increased willpower regeneration from Embiggen. So that's what you can do with this piece right here. I really like the first perk because of the 10% increased damage from Embiggen. So that's why I prefer this. So now moving on to the minor artifacts. I went with the split yellow ISO and a blue ISO. So I first went with the Valor piece right here, just to increase my heroic rating and also have a balance between my range rating and heroic rating. So 50 Valor, 46 Valor. You can get this when you're running missions, when you open those treasure boxes or loot boxes, whatever you want to call it. And then I have the blue ISO, which is based on precision. So right here you can see I like this one a little bit better because it does increase the charge rate of my heroic ability. So that will help me use my Embiggen ability a little bit faster. I wish I did have a heroic ability charge with this piece. Hopefully in the future I do get one, but as of right now I'm just rolling with this. So again, you can get these artifact pieces from the these ISO 8 pieces from either the drop zone missions or when you're basically opening those boxes again while you're running missions, those loot boxes. Next one, major artifact. So like I said, I'm using the Attribution, which is basically based off of status damage. So with the pin particle attacks I usually do with this range build, and by activating this artifact, I will have the ability to increase that status damage from that. So I'll pop this off, and then I'll go into hitting my enemies with that punch and dealing some particle damage. Okay, so that's the breakdown of the gear. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the skills just to show you what abilities I use. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If this video is long, there are going to be timestamps, so you can skip to whichever you know, part of the video you would like to see. So now let's go to skills. All right, so we're gonna go into specialty right now. So quick demonstration. So again, you can use this build. Miss Marvel is probably the best support unit in the game. She can heal your teammates, and with this range build, you can attack from far. Especially when that end game contact comes out, and you feel like you want to be more of that teammate that wants to help, and you know, support your team with healing and you know, attacking from afar. This build is probably the best build to go for. Miss Marvel is also underrated. Not a lot of people use her. I actually like using her because, especially when I'm running those Tachyon Rift missions or any other endgame missions, you know, sometimes you run into some people who are new to the game where, you know, they're just going full in with either Hulk, Thor, whoever it is, trying to think they're invincible, but then they end up dying, which ruins, you know, your mission completion and everything. So that's why I try to, you know, use this build when I'm running with a lot of new people or when I'm just farming material, because I know I'll be running with a lot of like players who don't have their heroes up. This build will definitely help. So back into the specialty abilities, I'll quickly show you here. So this will give you an additional charge of Healing Spirit and then give you another charge. So again, this is the support heroic ability just to help your teammate out. So that's about, I would say, like 2 charges of Healing Spirit that you are equipped with. So you can pop it off when you're about to die or when your teammates are about to die. Next one. So here, this is the important one. I go with the too slow Assault Heroic. So what I would do is you can see the animation right there. I will basically bring it all the way back and then boom, you know, just give that hands, you know, palm strike to my enemies. And then again, remember, this is for the high 5 Assault Heroic ability. And then here you can also see when I use this ability, which is called Patty Cake, when you're destroying enemies, they have a chance to create heroic orbs. And I will also mention, because right there, what those percentages mean is when you're activating certain abilities, that's the percentage of the chance you have of spawning heroic orbs after using your high 5 ability. So since I'm equipped with too slow, I have like a 25% chance of creating heroic orbs, which, you know, it's all right. It's not great, but it's still something. I usually do see a lot of heroic orbs spawn. It's not as frequent, but it still does its thing. Alright, next up we have the Embiggen Ultimate Heroic ability. So here, we're going to quickly go over it. When you're going Embiggen, you want to go for Big Trouble. It extends the duration of Embiggen ability by 5 seconds, so you can stay a little bit big, a little bit longer. You know, no pun intended. And then the next one I have here is Fist of Fate. Important one right here. When you're going to that Embiggen state, which when you're turning into a giant, critical attack does 35% more damage while Embiggened. So that's why I went with. Alright, so that's a showcase of the specialty abilities and everything for Support Heroic, Assault Heroic, and Ultimate Heroic. Now let's go ahead on to the Mastery. So with this one, you can just see here, I'm not going to really explain this as much. You guys can just quickly, you know, put your attributes into this mastery system I have going on right here. Important, I will explain this one though. So this one, you obviously want to boost all range damage by 15%. So you want to go with this specialization. Takedown, you obviously want to spawn heroic orbs, so you want to go with this. Range attacks here. So this is Whip Fist is usually the range ability I use because it can attack multiple enemies, and with the gear piece I have, it will affect the PIM particle damage. And then I got grab efficiency, so when you're holding onto an enemy, it reduces the cost by 40%, because some of these other ones, if you're holding onto an enemy, there's a chance where you're going to be using a lot of your heroic meter, or your overcharge meter, whatever you want to call it. Intrinsic meter, thank you. Next one is Heroic Grab Mastery. 25% chance to generate a heroic orb after slamming or throwing a grabbed enemy. So when you're holding on to an enemy, if you're slamming them, you know, throwing them, there's a chance they'll spawn a heroic orb after defeating them as well. Onto efficiency real quick. Intrinsic upgrade, sorry. We have this one right here. Next one is this. Not really going to go in depth with this. If you guys do have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But remember, this build is all about critical attack damage, range damage, being that supportive unit for your team, and did I say status effect damage? Yes, and status effect damage. Alright, now, sorry, that was efficiency, now it's intrinsic. Alright, so that was a quick breakdown of the mastery. Now let's go ahead and move on to the champion system. Champion system, I haven't really grinded up, you know, my Miss Marvel in terms of her, you know, her boost within the champion system. But this is what I will suggest you do. You would want to max out your critical attack damage along this here, and then your critical attack chance right here. You can also boost your stun and status damage because, again, this is a status effect build. You can do that there. Another important one is you do want to make sure you you want to increase the you want to increase the boost, the chance of activating your perks by 3%. Man, almost, you know, got mixed up while I was talking right there. So yes, you definitely want to make sure you can boost the chance of activating your perks by 3%. You want to max all of that out, which will help you, you know, get that damage buff from the gear you are equipped with, if those gear pieces do have a damage buff equipped to them. Okay, and then next one, we're also going to go into, you want to boost your range damage, obviously. Heroic damage. And then we also want to do this. You want to increase the charge rate of all your heroics. So going back, we're going to be maxing out our perk chance boost, our heroic charge rate boost, stun and status damage. Well, obviously you want to max out these two first, critical damage boost and critical chance boost. And then go into your range damage boost and then heroic damage boost. So quick breakdown of the champion system. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Timestamps will be provided in the comments, just so you can skip to the parts that you want to really listen to. Now we're going to go ahead and get ready for this demonstration of how I'm attacking enemies, how I'm using Miss Marvel with this ultimate range build. So let's go. Okay, welcome to the harm room. So here we're just going to do a quick demonstration on how I'm attacking enemies with Miss Marvel's range abilities. Before I go to the computer here and start spawning enemies, just going to do a quick demonstration. So basically, if you're on the PlayStation, you're holding L2 and just spamming R2. If you hold down to R onto an enemy that's either decreased in size or is a smaller enemy, you can grab onto them and then either hold square to squeeze them or hold triangle to like slam them. So yeah, so while I'm using Miss Marvel, I'll just keep spamming this in the back. And then if anyone needs a heal, I'll pop the heal. So let's get it started. So we got it here currently on brutal difficulty. Let's keep it simple real quick. Let's go for the Proto Synthoid so I can just show you how to grab onto an enemy. Again, enemies are around 170 with this. So there we go. Activate that. So I'm just doing this. I'm also waiting for that damage buff to be applied. You can see those numbers in red or magenta, whatever you want to call it, is the PIM status damage. There we go. I got that damage buff now. Now I'm going to use my assault heroic ability, and there we go. Obviously you'll do more damage on enemies who are lower combat power, but that's what it is. So let's grab onto this enemy real quick. Holding square, squeezing him. Let me just, put a heal on. Triangle, you're slamming them. And squeezing them again. So that's that. I will show you the ultimate heroic ability, so let's just quickly complete this wave. That's when you go turn into a giant and go embiggen. So yeah, the damage buff gets applied again. Once you get your champion system up in terms of the perk column, you'll be able to get this damage buff a little bit more frequently. Alright. Now we're going to turn to this giant right here. Let me, get these enemies scattered. Ooh. Alright, let me try and get a damage buff. But you can see how much damage I'm doing. I'm doing a little bit more with my ultimate heroic ability. Now, I'm a giant. Now spam this. Boom. They're all gone. Well, most of them. Alright, so that's that. Let's quickly get one more. The charge went down. So that's just a quick demonstration of how I use Miss Marvel. So you just keep spamming your range attacks. Try to get that damage buff going, and then you also want to use your ultimate heroic ability, which currently is not fully recharged for me, but you get the gist of it. If someone's, dying, your teammates, you want to pop your heal. And then keep going. Really great build again for endgame content, especially if you want to be that type of person who wants to support your teammates and, do damage from afar. Let's just go ahead and complete this wave real quick. Yeah, it really takes some time to get a damage buff. You will run into perks while you're hunting for gear that will have a better chance of granting a damage buff, so make sure you do look for that. But again, you want to make sure you get the precision, the valor, and the proficiency. Woo. There you go, polymorph, increased damage. Alright, almost done. Get over here. There we go, that little scorpion action right there. Get over here. Alright, quick demonstration against smaller enemies. Now what I'm going to show you is we're going to fight some exos now. So if you guys don't know what the exos are those giant robots. We're going to turn them small, grab them, slam them, shake them, do all that crazy stuff to them, and apply that crazy damage. So let's go ahead. Hopefully I do not die here. But hey, you know, we gotta make sure the power rating's at 170 if I really want to demonstrate this great build video for you guys. With this, I'm actually just going to provide an infinite heroic meter because I don't think my other heroics have fully charged yet. So I'm just going to pop this in case I don't die. So boom. There we go. Damage buff is applied. Look at. So this is against 170 enemies. Now let's do the heroic assault ability. One more time. There we go. So I'm gonna grab this assault adaptoid, squeeze them, heal myself because I was about to die right there. So there we go. With the PIM status damage, you can turn them into a smaller enemy, so you're able to grab them, which is, you know, great, especially when you're running to those big enemies that are hitting hard. Thank goodness that was just a demonstration. All right. So that's what you can usually do. Obviously, you are able to survive if you spam your heals. You can complete this power 170 harm room easily because you won't be receiving a lot of damage, and by the time while you're dodging and weaving and attacking with range attacks, you will be building up your heroic abilities to do your extra damage and, you know, to defeat and clear rooms when you're running these missions or when you're running this custom harm room. So right now, before I end the video, let's just do something real quick. I want to have some fun with this. I'm gonna pop that artifact. I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna go really big. We're gonna keep going bigger. Can I go any bigger than this? Alright, never mind. And I was about to die. Alright. Oh, snap. Get over here! I can't even see Miss Marvel anymore. There we go. Boom! Okay, they had a shield. That's why. Alright, I deserve that because I was having too much fun. Alright, so yeah, that was again a quick demonstration of how I use Miss Marvel. Her ultimate range build. I'll show you guys the stats one more time and the gear. Hey everyone, that's the end of this ultimate Miss Marvel range build video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you do have any questions again, please let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely answer those questions for you. I will also be putting timestamps in the comments in case you want to skip to any part of this build video. And I'll also be throwing some in-game clips and footage of which missions I've been running with my Miss Marvel range build, so you can witness and see the insane damage she does. Again, thank you for always showing your support. I do appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers that subscribe to my channel. I do want to mention though, I'm not begging for subscribers or anything like that, but I recently did find out a stat from my YouTube page where a lot of the people who do watch my build videos are not subscribed. Support is free, so I do greatly appreciate if you can just hit that red subscribe button. Show your support to your boy, because it seems like 96.8% of you guys and girls do not subscribe after watching a video. If there's anything else I need to improve on as well, hey, please let me know. I do take constructive criticism. If you feel like my build videos are long, I do apologize again. That's why I do include those timestamps so you can skip to whichever part you want. Until then though, you guys take care, you girls take care. I'm out. Peace.
The Abomination clone is defeated.
It's bad. Try and stop her.
You can't stop the progress.
He's charging up again. You know what to do.
Information for the facility? You know what to do.
Look for a chest with gear nearby.
It's